Thank you everyone for being here today, and I'd like to add my words of appreciation and gratitude, and I'd specifically like to just quickly mention 3 people, and this is something that we as a caucus do when we're connecting with people, is to acknowledge the work, the 3 years of hard slog Holly, Derek and Julian carried out without taking an income for 3 years, and the work they did to bring us back to government. For those of you that were here at the last AGM, the last convention, we had a policy to increase the funding for Pharmac. We have delivered on that, this government. When we went into government, there was a $1.7 billion fiscal hole in Pharmac's budget. We have filled that, and we have added to that to enable more world-class medicines can be rolled out for all those vulnerable New Zealanders who are in need of them. We have now ensured that $6.2 billion over 4 years has been pumped into Pharmac. We've also ensured that the patient voice is part of the consideration that Pharmac must take into account when it is deciding which medicines it will fund. The next thing that we need Pharmac to do is to ensure that the medicines that they do fund ensure that we get the greatest health gain from the most up-to-date medicines. That's more work to be done. We also managed to, in our coalition agreement, so many great things. But one of the pieces of work I'm currently working on as a member of the Health Select Committee is an inquiry into the aged care sector with a specific focus on neurocognitive disorders. So we're talking things like dementia. We all know we've got an ageing population that's going to hit us down the line in the next 10 years. We're going to have so many people who will be requiring aged care facilities, but in particular those numbers with dementia will increase. So the committee is looking at, is the funding levels appropriate? What are the needs going to be as we progress and have more people needing this type of facility? So that's a really important inquiry we're doing, and that's thanks to our coalition agreement. I'd like to talk a little bit about one of my other portfolios, which is I'm the Undersecretary for Media and Communications, and as Mark has referenced, that we are doing a collaborative piece of work around rural connectivity, and ours is really around resilience. As we saw in some of the weather events over last year, everyone's cell phone ran out of juice because the towers went down because they only have a very short battery life. So this is a piece of work we're looking at. What are the important towers around the regional areas, and make sure they have battery life that will sustain through more than a 24-hour period in a civil defence type emergency. So that's really important. Very unsexy piece of work, but certainly important for our connectivity in the regions. In terms of the media, and acknowledge we have media here in the room, and thank you for being here. I know for some of you, funding is an issue. It's a challenge in the sector. So actually to be here, we appreciate that you are here. And what we really want, which is something that I have been, as I've gone out around the sector talking to your leaders and your managers, they say to me, what does Winston want? We know he pushes hard on the media, and really he's the only political figure ever to have enough steel to push back on the media. I say to all of them, well, Winston wants fair, balanced reporting. Fair, balanced reporting. But more than that, we don't want to have media silence. Now, what is media silence? And Winston already has referred to that this morning, and I'll just give you an example. At 2020, during that election campaign, we were the story of the election because of the SFO and all of that. So the media went really hard chasing that story, and they kept going hard. But as Winston referenced earlier, the minute that all of those cases were thrown out, 3 times it went to court, 3 times it was thrown out, what did we hear? Absolute silence from the media. To have fair, balanced media, you need to not only chase the story, but follow it up. No more media silence, thank you. However, we do understand and we do have sympathy for the challenges that the media are facing currently. The business model no longer operates. $2 billion is being sucked out of, in terms of advertising revenue. Most of that is pumped offshore. We understand that is a challenge. We also understand that with AI coming down the track, it's going to be very difficult soon to be able to identify what is real, what is augmented, what does that mean for truth. Where content becomes confused with what is commerce, we've seen many examples of that. Trust and the media trust has declined, but even more alarmingly, and we've had a number of polls over the last couple of years about trust in media, more alarming for me is the avoidance that people are avoiding the media. And if you don't have an informed population, what happens to democracy? So New Zealand First, we do understand the important role of the Fourth Estate because it enables a vibrant democracy. But we have to get that fair, balanced reporting back so that people can trust again and so that you can hold truth to power. What is the role of government, though, in the current situation that the media are facing? The levers that we can pull are regulatory ones. It is not about dumping money into the media. It is about creating that even playing field for the media to operate. And there are a number of pieces of work that I'm working on alongside with the Minister. And yes, I have met with Google, and yes, they are contributing a large financial piece of money going directly into our media at the moment, but I can't talk too much about that at this stage because those discussions are ongoing. But in conclusion, the media is important to us. It is important that we hear our stories right across the country. But one of the focuses I've really got is on regional media because they are there when we have weather events, when there are emergencies. They are the ones, in particular radio, who are the first connectors to get information out to the people in the middle of an event. So a regional media resilience piece of work is something I'm currently working on, and I'll look forward to being able to share more of that with you once I manage to squeeze some money out of the Minister. Thank you very much.